Good morning, day 42, and I am heading up to the Grayson Highlands today, and looks like a nice clear day. It's going to be fairly warm for this time of year, and I think it's going to be a good day. I always like these changes in landscape. I've come out into some pasture land. I said it's going to be a warm day, but it's not warm yet. I have high hopes. Come on, son. I could have sworn last night I heard something that sounded like elk. And I know there's a place up here called Elk Garden. Are there elk up here? Maybe I'll see one, but those that know this area, let me know. Holy crap. I am at Buzzard Rock. And how lucky am I to be up here on such a nice day, and it's warmer than normal, a light breeze. That's where the trail goes. And I am back in the Blue Ridge. See how those, you get peaks over there, but you don't get these long ridges. You'd have to call Dr. Sharon Mosher to figure that out. But if you look over that way, you get these nice orderly ridges, which are sequences of folded sedimentary rock, at least it was originally, and you can make sense of it. In fact, that's the ridge I walked, the one on top, into Damascus. So all the way down the hill, and down there somewhere is Damascus. You know, I was thinking back, in terms of views, I've been pretty fortunate all along in being at some of the marquee places, standing Indian Mountain, a lot of the Smokies, Rowan Highland, and been there on clear enough days to get views like this. I'm still in my recliner chair here on Buzzard Rock, and I've told folks before, don't assume, if I have an opinion on some issue that I'm talking about, some natural, even geology, my geologic skills are rusty from lack of use. So don't assume that it's 100% accurate. I mean, I try to be. But here's a topic where I do profess some knowledge, and it has to do with the Bristol Landfill and landfills in general. And a number of folks commented on the the Bristol Landfill, and that's its own individual hell that's specific to that landfill, and I'm not really in the know about that one. But in terms of landfills in general, I retired from EPA 7 months ago, and in the last 2 years or so, EPA began focusing on landfills, and I'm talking about solid waste landfills. It's where your garbage goes. It's where some industrial waste goes, and since I'm retired, I feel like I can talk a little bit about it, and it's not like I'm revealing any secrets. But I'll just start out. If you live next to a solid waste landfill and you're an air breather, I'd like to apologize on behalf of EPA, but of course I don't work for EPA, and not that I would have the authority to ever do that anyway. So I guess I'll apologize on on behalf of myself. Because I tell you what, most landfills, not all, but most, are extremely poorly maintained. And I'll just I'll just give one example of the most egregious thing that I personally have seen at these landfills. Now, the way they're supposed to work is, everything is encapsulated, it's sealed up in the landfill, and it generates methane. There's a system of pipes and headers, and it takes that methane and it controls it. So there's things you can do with it. You can burn it in a flare. You can clean it up and make natural gas, put it in the pipeline. You could generate power with it. And the regulations require this. Now, of course, it's not just methane. There's hazardous air pollutants mixed in there as well. And so to make sure they're doing it right, 4 times a year, the facility is supposed to walk the surface of the landfill and check for leaks. And there's very specific regulations on how they do that. And it's a self-reporting program. So you go, you look for leaks, and if you have a leak, you fix it, and off you go. A few years ago, EPA started doing their own monitoring of these landfills, and by and large, the landfills are not discovering these leaks, and there's no way to force the maintenance if you don't sample correctly and discover these leaks. And I'm talking landfills, in some cases, that for years they didn't report a single leak, which they're allowed to do and fix. And EPA, it's a 2 or 3 day sampling event on a large landfill, and EPA will go out there in a few hours and find 50 or 75 leaks. It's egregious, and you wonder what these folks are doing. Why aren't they finding the leaks? They have consultants that go and sample for these leaks. What is going on with these consultants? Did they all get together and decide how many leaks they're going to discover, i.e. not very many? And these are major consultants, and I'm not going to name them, but these are the biggest ones in the country, and there's various consultants that do this stuff. But was there some meeting where they got together? Because it kind of makes sense. Landfill's not going to hire you if you're going to find a bunch of leaks, because it does take money to fix the problems. And that's the thing about landfills. They settle. Those gas collection wells have to be replaced every few years. The piping that attaches all those wells has to be maintained, and it does take money, but it also takes correct sampling, and it takes a dedicated staff of professionals at each landfill that's empowered by their management to do the right thing. So anyway, that's my rant. And again, I'm sorry if you live near one of these landfills. EPA is working on this issue, and they're considering better ways to monitor landfills. And there's a lot going on, but those wheels turn slow. And yeah, if you live near a landfill, send me an email. I'll coach you on what to look for. There's things you can ask for that you can use to evaluate how this landfill is performing. And now I return to my regular programming. It's like an enchanted forest through here. There's something. Please let there be a garbage can, please. Please let there be a garbage can. Whoa, there's a garbage can! just gonna hang out here for a minute, enjoy the garbage cans. Oh, and the privy. This is Elk Garden. Seems like a good as place as any to look for the elk I thought I heard last night. Maybe there's a farmer with a herd of elk back near the shelter. I don't know. If you see a backpacker and you don't have any food and you want to do some trail magic, offer to take their garbage away. They will appreciate it. So here's some first class irony for you. While I was sitting there admiring the garbage cans, this couple pulls up in a pickup truck, getting ready to go for a day hike, and they came over and asked if I wanted any food or anything. And I said, no, but could you take some of mine? I gave them a 10-ounce bag of unopened trail mix. How about that? All right. They're trying to keep something in here. Maybe it's horses. Maybe it's elk. Sasquatch. Something. Man, who knew that the horses out here can read? Doesn't look like horse poop to me. Looks like a cow pie. I don't know what elk do. Mount Rogers, or Sasquatch for that matter. So I just met southbound through hikers. Take care and say little. Had a nice conversation with them. They started back in June. Went back to their home. I think they said Virginia, and they're piecing together the rest of it. And they're down to 500 miles to go. So congrats to them. And it just shows that through hikes are put together in lots of different ways. My first pony, standing there right in the trail. Okay if I come that way, just trying to get by. Yeah, I don't have anything for you. I ate all my apples on the first day. Yeah, you're pretty. I like your blonde mane. Well, I'm gonna cruise on by, is that all right? Yeah. Well, you're a calm one. You smell like a horse. All right. Have a good afternoon. All right. We got some spruce. I would walk 500 miles, and I would walk 500 more. Da 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 da. Walking home to you, Peggy. Love you. All right, this is gonna get tricky. Hell no, I'm going around. All right. I'm blue blazing for about, I don't know, 150 feet. I was here some years ago, and it was the day I found out that my cousin Monica had passed away. Here's to you, Monica, and cousin Chad, here's to you as well. Yeah, so, yeah, me and Rightfoot, and we had a couple of bad days. And we got a therapist though. And we just worked through it, man. We just kept talking. And now things are better. You know? Hey, if you ever need a therapist, I know a guy. He's got this funny accent though. I think he's from Romania. And calls himself Dr. D. He's got this accent though, and every once in a while he'll stop and, you know, when you stop talking, he'll say, And how does that make you feel? What about you guys? Need a good therapist? I got you, man. All right, here's the view coming off the north side of Grayson Highlands. It's kind of hazy out there. All right, so here's the plan. I just stopped at a shelter. It would have been 17 miles for the day, I think. And I just had dinner, hung out with Jed, who's a section hiker. And I am going on another 6 miles. So I'm gonna hike a couple of hours in the dark. And the idea is the further I get in the nice weather, the less I'll have to hike in the rain that's supposed to move in tomorrow. All right, we've got a full moon. Good for night hiking. You almost don't need a headlamp. Almost. You just got to take a little more time to make sure you don't miss something. And it's always comforting to see that blaze reflecting off your light. Came out into an open area. Just the last little remnants of sunset. 4 miles till camp. Shh. We've been trying to reach you about your extended warranty on your vehicle. Man, I just heard a sound. I don't know what it was. It sounded kind of big. Let's just say I turned my light up to full brightness. I just made a menacing sound to establish that I'm not to be trifled with. Wrapping up for day 42. Started at Old Orchard Shelter and started at Lost Mountain Shelter, and I am at Old Orchard Shelter. That's 23.5 miles and a climb of almost 5,000 feet. Pretty long day. Got in here about 9:30 and getting ready to hit the hay now. Good night. Hey buddy, where are you going? I got more to talk about. I got lots of stories. What's your name? What's your trail name anyway? He said Buck, of course. Buck. Wait a minute. He said